Hercules as frenemy, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hercules is also a hero. Hercules is also superpowered, but Hercules, being a big drunken dude, bro, doesn't give a shit. He just has fun, right? Now you have a dynamic. Now you have something that works. If you have to sidestep the Masters of Evil, and then you can just fold it in as you go, right?
Why is Johnny Cage here?
Well, we were talking about why Wonder Man didn't work in the
I
pre-show.
I was saying if you did a Wonder Man show where you basically styled Wonder Man as Johnny Cage, that would
Oh,
fucking work.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'd like to start us off.
Hello, everybody, and we actually have church
Hello,
for once. Fuck that Ayrton
you
guy.
do, you do. I'd like to
Oh
open
shit.
strong.
I gotta go.
Wait, what? What?
No,
Uh,
I'm
no,
joking.
I'm
we're opening
confused.
we're opening with racism time, everybody, because we're talking about the movie Avatar 3, where they
Oh,
decided,
I
unironically,
thought we were going to start with racism time, so we're talking about Andrew Tate getting beat like a bitch.
I mean, Andrew
We
Tate's
can
been out
fold
of the
that in.
yeah, but Andrew Tate has been out of the kickboxing game for a long ass time. He's getting beaten by a bitch like
I,
a younger guy. That's not
I only bring it up because when we do get to that subject, I am super amused by his post fight commentary because it is just pure copium.
so. I saw Avatar 3, so you guys didn't have to.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, I
So,
made the right call by offering to leave. I'll see you guys later.
well, hold up, church. This is without a doubt the best one of these movies because it's at least about something.
It's about family, and that's why it's so
That
powerful.
that bar, Larry, is so low that no one can limbo under it.
Right, but the previous movies weren't even about something. So, uh, the movie embraces the racist memes about Avatar. So, Jake Sully, Natiri's oldest son, gets killed as a consequence of the last movie's events, and Natiri realizes she hates humans. And Jake says, "I mean, I'm still human on the inside, and your kids are half human. Are you always mad at our kids whenever they do something stupid because they're half human? Is that what's going on?" And Natiri goes through a character arc where she has to learn to not be racist. And I appreciate that aspect of the movie. And Quaritch, the best character of this series, goes through a sort of Captain Kurt's Heart of Darkness character arc where he just goes native. And things are worse because people don't let him go full native on their enemies. So it's a very accurate representation of people in colonial wars in these sorts of experiences.
I have to ask, how full native is he not allowed to go?
Well, no, he goes all the way full native, and that's the point in which the military infrastructure doesn't want to be involved with him because he
Ah,
makes them uncomfortable.
I see.
Because he's dressed in ash people attire, he's decked out in full warrior body paint, and this makes the human military infrastructure uncomfortable.
I mean,
Okay.
how else are you supposed to show up to the ball if you don't put on your pretty dress?
Exactly.
Well, see,
Exactly.
when you said full native, I was imagining we were going to show the aliens what humans look like when we're really off the hook. Because to be entirely frank, the films do a very poor choice
I
of
thought
showing
you
what
were
humans
Joe.
look like when we
Why
stop.
would you be? Why would you be Frank?
I mean, sometimes you just want to be somebody else, but the films do a reasonably poor process of showing what we're really like when we just stop giving a shit.
Yeah. Uh, so the leader of the Ash tribe, she has a name, but I'm just going to call her the Sorceress Lady. Uh, she's a very compelling character. Her people were starving. They couldn't connect to their goddess anymore, so she connected to an alien power, and it gave her the ability to do fire magic. And she just wants to take because she was tired of being given, and she wants to be in control and have sovereignty and dominion over her own way of life. They adopt scalping as a technique on their own, except scalping is worse for the Navi because scalping is removing a person's genitals.
I know
Yeah.
the number of people I have met that have been trying to be like, it's not their penis, it's just how they plug into the planet. It's like, no, it's their head penis. Fuck you.
Yeah, if I try to cut off my head penis, I'd be pissed.
Right?
Well, no, except for the Navi, they just die.
Well, the other thing is that
Well, what's the
I
point of living without your head penis?
well see I got into this argument with an idiot, which was my own bad because I shouldn't talk to stupid people. And it's because I point out biology is a thing that exists, and from a technical standpoint, having your connecting whatever, whether it's your penis or not, on
Your
your
head
head
penis.
in an extremely long uh tubule proboscis is just a bad idea. Because as I pointed out, uh, the reason that our vitals are where they are, the reason our penis is where it is, the reason that children are weird where they are before they are born, is entirely because when you fall down, your natural tendency is to curl up into a fetal ball to protect that shit.
Hmm? Hmm? Hmm?
uh by having the connector on their head, they are subject to mountains of misadventure, falling rocks, dangerous prey animals, uh ritual combat. uh what if you fall down and it gets torn off as you're tumbling down the hill? How many people have died unspoken and unremembered because their head penis got ripped off and they just could not connect anymore?
And the sorceress lady, she gets Quaritch into her inner circle of trust by drugging him with Yopo. Are you familiar with Yopo,
I
Church?
am familiar with Yopa.
Does it come in pudding pop form?
No.
I mean, it could, but
That'd probably be a good delivery system.
I mean, it's a South American hallucinogenic herb, so it would probably not taste good as a pudding pop.
Well, anyone who has watched and loved Metalocalypse knows Yopo because the boys get taken to South America following the bloodlines of Nathan Explosion and have to consume Yopo and somehow do not die.
Hmm? Hmm? And
Only
after
bitches die on their drugs, Room.
and after Quaritch has his hallucinatory experience and has head tentacle sex with the priestess lady, he's like, "Yeah, you want to have this planet burn? I'll give you the weapons it takes to make this planet burn. We'll kill them all. All the other
Let
tribes
God
will
sort
bow
them out.
before you." Well, no, because they'll be sorting them out because they'll be having all the advanced weapons. And this was his ultimate plan to get him a Jake Sully, and it works. There's a whole army of Navi behind him with guns, and Jake Sully's like, "Hey, I will surrender to you if you don't murder all of these people and do a war crime."
I mean, by that spectra, can we point out that this is technically Jake Sully's fault?
It is, and the movie actually incorporates that this is his fault in several ways. So in the first movie, Jake Sully finds the magical dragon creature that enables him to be the chief of all chiefs. but he had abandoned this creature, and it was never explained in the second movie why. The power to be the leader is attributed to the whole guys who go into combat become really good at killing. That's all they become about. And Jake was actually going through an arc in the second movie and most of the third movie where he was trying to not be that person anymore. He wanted to protect his family without being an avatar of death and destruction.
But that's how you protect your family.
Right, he comes to terms with that in the third movie.
Okay. Yeah, you be the avatar of death and destruction.
He thought he
A
could do it
peaceful
another
man is
way.
not a good man. A good
Yes.
man is a violent, dangerous, angry man who
Yes,
learns
and
how
he
to
learned
control that.
that is Jake Sully's character arc in this movie. So you understand why I'm saying this movie is a better movie, because the characters act
Have
with
arcs.
they have arcs and they have emotional responses that are relatable to normal human beings. And then we have the children. The children are the terrible part of this movie.
Children are always a terrible part of an action movie.
So Jake Sully's surviving son is super emo. And all of the other children in the de facto Polynesian village totally think he's cool as fuck and follow and emulate him. And he's able to save the day by convincing the whales to abandon pacifism and embrace murder, as well as the other life in the sea. At which point he gains respect of his father. But again, his father at this point in the story has embraced his war god aspect. So he respects his son because his son's able to become a violent, murdering monster to protect his family and his community.
I mean, it's good to be able to make your dad proud.
Exactly.
Something humanity ruining paradise. Something Christian parable. Something paradise lost.
Well, no. This is actually viewed within the narrative of the movie as protecting paradise from the corrupting influences. So this is not
There's
viewed
an
as a
old,
bad thing within the narrative of the movie.
there's an old Latin phrase that edgy boys get tattooed on themselves. I have it tattooed on myself. It's
Back when you were an edgy boy.
no. I'm still an edgy boy.
Did you tattoo "Welcome Aboard" on your penis in Latin?
Well, I got the first three letters,
Uh,
but no, it's
Oh, I love
CV's
that
Possum
movie.
CV's Possum Parabellum.
Ah,
It's if you wish for peace, prepare for war.
I am familiar with this phrase.
yes.
That's just known. Like cultures long and far know that that's how you maintain peace is through being a dick.
Sigourney Weaver's character. The thing I like about this movie is I totally believe her playing a teenager. Her body motions aren't like what we saw with Joe Pesci and De Niro in some of their CGI de-aged movies. It all feels believable. Her emotional responses feel like a teenager's. And then her parents tell her, "Oh yeah, you're actually a genetic clone of your mom, but you were impregnated by AY itself. So you're basically
Oh, you're Blue
God's
Jesus.
exactly, exactly." And she uses her Jesus powers the first time by giving Spider, their human friend, who was part of the family, uh, giving him the ability to breathe on the planet and have a hair tentacle penis of his very own
Yay, head penis.
by forcibly having the mushrooms of the planet integrate into his biology.
Should we just take to calling it heinous,
I like head
or
penis.
or
It's
perhaps
more vis.
penis?
And
No,
and
that's their head
uh,
asshole.
and and in the movie's context, Jake Sully realizes that this is a very big problem. Natiri recognizes that this is a very big problem and goes through her character arc sequence where she considers murdering this child. The humans, once they recover this child, are like going, "Wait, you mean we could just give everybody a fungal infection and they could just live on this planet normally? How do we make this a controlled fungal infection?" So the movie recognizes the consequences of this action and how this consequence drives characters to have rational and reasonable responses. Note, I am praising this movie because it meets the bare minimum standard after two movies where it did
I
not meet
told
the
you
bare minimum standard.
the bar is so low. Holy shit!
Um, and
What are you playing, Church?
I'm playing Ultima.
I can't blame you. Uh,
in the beginning of the movie opens with Awa gaslighting the My Chemical Romance Navi by having his brother saying, "Bro, it's not your fault that I died. You need to forgive yourself." Which, of course, drives him to seek redemption because he doesn't believe he's worthy of being forgiven. So the
so,
goddess on Avatar is clearly and actively gaslighting the characters to take certain actions.
so what you're saying is that they tried so hard and went so far, and in the end, it didn't even matter.
Exactly. The basic plot of the movie is
But did he have to fall to lose it all?
yes, that actually happened in the movie. There's a lot of
And
people
it didn't
involved.
even matter.
It didn't even matter.
Hmm.
The Air Navi uh, are one of the few things that created potentially world building breaking questions. The Navi have a word for raider, which means all of this, peaceful hippie in balance with the world bullshit was fake. And everybody knew about the Ash people and knew that they perpetuated raiding as a lifestyle. The movie takes no time to actually consider this and try to come to terms with it.
They were the Iron Island of the Avatar people.
well,
Yeah,
all right. Let me put on my serious hat for just a minute while I, have been mocking this film. One of
I'm
the
not
real
even wearing pants.
Let me take your time. One of the problems with these films, and I don't, and no amount of copium about, well, it's starting a conversation will suit, is they present interesting ideas. They actually do. There are some interesting ideas, but then they never explore what those interesting ideas mean in a meaningful fashion,
yes,
right? The idea of a culture separate from the meta culture of this planet that engages in raiding as a lifestyle is actually interesting, right?
yes.
But there's a problem. Let's look at various human cultures in reality. uh Raiding is a mechanism to something else. It is not an end unto itself. There is no culture that was so despotically fucked up that they began and ended with raiding, and then that's where they stopped, right? What purpose does being raiders serve the fire people? I suspect the answer is none. Or
They get
or
resources because their land doesn't have any because it's been turned to slag.
right, but the thing is that this means that our villain, who is not a villain, would arguably not just be giving them weapons, but be telling them, now you can take lands for yourself that are more amenable to your survival.
He did
You,
actually,
you wouldn't live in the shithole if you didn't have to live in the shithole.
and he relocates them to the military base after they kidnap Jake Sully.
Right.
Boys, I think we're missing the point that this could have easily just like the first movie was just reskinned Fern Gully. This could have easily just been reskinned Black Panther, but they fumbled it.
I mean, nothing wants to be reskinned Black Panther.
But my chef's kiss on this whole movie, because Jake Sully is basically a white savior narrative. In Spider, after he gets his fungal infection, is admitted to the roles of the ancestors, and he will forever be one of the people. And he has joined the Great Spirit as one of the people. So this little white boy in dreadlocks has all sorts of modeled after non-white people saying you're one of us. That's a really fucked up visual.
Yeah.
There was also a cool subplot where the leader of the Polynesian Na'vi just
No,
really
man, you've
fucks
never
with
seen somebody be given the N-word pass?
Okay, Larry, I believe the correct term is polynavi.
Polynavi, exactly. Exactly. She just hated Jake Sully's wife because they were just bitchy, catty women towards each other. And I
Ugh.
love that because it's so different than most mainstream Hollywood movies where women aren't allowed to act like women towards each other.
Well, look, that is sad because, again, bare minimum to actually fucking succeed.
But she dies in the battle with the Fire Navi and the humans. And she asks Neytiri to protect her infant and see to it that her infant is properly cared for.
Here's the part that I hate. Okay,
All of it.
I mean, yes, but I wanna notate a specific thing. My mom had friends. Okay, I had friends that were my mom's friends growing up. I've known lots of women in my life. Okay,
Hmm?
in a non-biblical sense, women can be friends. It is possible.
Right.
Okay. The problem is not this idea that women have to hate each other, although we know women that do. The cattiness is fucking real. Okay. I have also known women who were pieces of shit. It is that the Bechdel test, which I recently was brought to my attention again as existing, has given this false idea that if women are friends and therefore not talking about men, which is the primary conversation of many a pair of women who are friends, is let's talk about dudes, they will be this false, super fluffy kind of friendship, which is potentially, of course, always a lead into, but are they gay? That's what's fucking unreal. Okay, it's not that women
So
have to be vile to each other. It's that if you're gonna have women be friends, have them be meaningful friends in a real way, not any of this
so
fucking but I want to be a marshmallow bullshit.
well, you see, Joe, it's much worse than that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Hollywood
sure there are
Hollywood's
layers.
no, Hollywood's not being influenced by the Bechdel test. Hollywood is being influenced on the fact that if they only show women being positive towards each other, they can encourage women to act that way in public.
Except they won't.
Well, a lot of studio executives think otherwise. And they've gotten promoted, Joe.
Right. Those people are called Nazis. And when I say that, and everyone goes, Joe, you can't call people Nazis because that's what the lefties do. I'm saying, no, these are people who listened to Goebbels and were like, yes, the cinema is the most influential thing in people's lives and will reshape their behavior. It's never worked. It doesn't fucking do that. Okay?
So
Yes, there is a Downey that tries to jump off the roof and be Superman. It breaks his fucking legs, but guess what? The other 9 million children who saw Superman fly? No, they can't!
well, you see, what if the Downey just didn't believe in itself enough, Joe?
Okay, so when I was a very small carpet grub, my parents got me a book. Okay? And it's this lovely book. And it's about a dragon that wants to be very special because, everybody else has something special about them. Right? And so the dragon thinks that if it just wishes hard enough, it can fly. He can't fly. And it can do other things. He can't do other things. right? But at the end, he accidentally breathes fire, right? And discovers that he has a talent. He can breathe fire. Wow, that's neat, right? But the lesson of the book was no matter how hard you wish for it, you can't make yourself something you aren't. You can't defy physics. You can't rewrite reality, right? And my parents thought this was really important for me to have because as a little carpet grub, they needed me to understand that my cerebral palsy was never going away. Right? I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and get 20 years of life back and be super healthy and running around and jumping up and down off the walls. My level of decrepitude is mine forever.
So,
right? So if the idea is that if the Downy believes in himself enough, he will fly, all you're telling the Downy is find a higher roof to fall off of.
I mean, yes. Yes. So, I would also want to add that it has been announced that Avatar 5 is going to come out in 2032.
Why would they threaten us like that?
This movie's going to make at least $1.5 billion, possibly $2 billion.
Do you see that there, Larry, on the horizon? I believe, I'm not sure, I believe that's all the fucks I don't give.
Well, I mean, we're going to be talking about these movies till at least 2032.
I hope I'm dead by 2032.
So
not because I actually want to be dead, but because I just don't want to be here for that fucking conversation.
So we're going to segue into further racism time by talking about the war between the land and the sea. The war.
What did Israel do now?
Well, no. This is a Doctor Who spinoff that's terrible. And it's about fish dinosaur people who've decided to rise from the water and reclaim the earth. And they're really fucking dumb. But these shows are all really fascinating because they're 80% filler. And it's a 7 or 6 episode series. So really, you can condense all of these shows into a single Doctor Who episode. And they thought to make this as a way to convince Disney that they could make the MCU out of Doctor Who.
Do you think it worked?
Oh no, Disney saw this and immediately started unwinding themselves from Doctor Who. Immediately upon seeing this. So our main character narrowly survived being exploded because a group of humans smuggled an explosive inside the human ambassador. And the fish person ambassador saves the humans because she believes in peace after ordering all of the garbage dropped from the bottom of the ocean onto the land. And the episode is all about her and the human ambassador trying to get to the magic meeting room where they can announce that there was a secret cabal that tried to murder them. Now, the British government is all like, let's murder the cabal instead. And they do that even though they're told not to by you. And then the fish lady uses her magic fish powers to escape being captured by the bad guys. That was the whole episode. I am fascinated why this was made. This is awful and terrible, and I feel Russell T. Davies should be horsewhipped for having come up with it.
Wow. That is a strong response from you, Larry. My brand, if we were to say that this is an act, and it's only halfway, is to be the bombastic one. You are not necessarily the voice of reason, because you can be a gremlin like the rest of us, but we think of church as the papa, and you're the more reasonable commentator. Well,
I'm the
Ayrton
second youngest one here. Pretty great.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and Ayrton's a shitlord, and we're all okay with that. So when you're like, you know what, the person who made this, we should beat within an inch of his life with a horsewhip. That's an impressive level of disdain.
But
There's a level of vitriol that you can achieve that you don't even recognize in yourself occasionally, where it's just
But-
like you get a gut feeling and you're just like, I hate this more than I've ever hated anything in my entire life, and I don't know why.
it's true. It's true. But I'm going to segue into a good television show. There's
Wait,
been
those
another.
exist?
They do. There was another episode of Pluribus that came out.
Okay.
So our main character Carol has been allowed to talk to the hive mind again. The hive mind has figured out how to deal with her emotional instability, and Carol starts hanging out and flirting with the avatar of the hive mind that was sent to talk to her. And what she's doing, and it's actually very intelligent. They go to a day spa. People are massaging her and the alien person, the person who's connected to the hive mind, and she's like saying, "So, is the whole world being massaged at the same time right now?" And she's asking these sort of casual, friendly quips to test the domains and limitations of the hive mind.
I mean,
She
that
also
seems legit.
she also tries to get the hive mind to differentiate between it as an individual within the hive mind and the hive mind itself as a entity. And it struggles to be able to keep its pronouns straight. The alien from the hive mind, however, ends the episode announcing that the guy from South America is finally made it to New Mexico. And he's coming to help Carol save the world and stop the aliens from being aliens. She also got the aliens to admit that there is a limited time span where they connect to the hive. And also that the aliens are building a giant satellite dish to pass the hive mind virus on to another planet.
I mean, it's good to have hobbies. I've said this already.
It is. But this show is good, classic science fiction. And I encourage everybody to watch it. It's actually good. It's well acted, well written, has good concepts. And I mean, Joe, have my reviews of this show encouraged you, or at least made you consider watching it?
I mean, the fact that you have never said anything negative about it does really incentivize one to consider it. I just haven't been driven because I'm already watching other things.
All right.
I saw some of the Stephen King Dairy show this week.
I have not been able to get through the first episode of that show.
I wouldn't encourage it.
I was sorely tempted to say something snarky about Stephen King today, but I didn't. So,
Go ahead and have it.
well, there are semi-irregular posts that come up my feed that are like, tell a horror story in 3 words, and Stephen King decided to make a political statement, and I want to say he said like MAGA was elected, right? right? And so I had to really resist the urge to just type "the talent was gone."
I mean, that's 4 words.
Okay. You're right. I would have to refine it, but still,
The message is there.
the message is there.
The talent expired.
Yeah, there you go.
But I want to get into some comics reviews because we got some Conan that's come in. If you remember the last time we talked about Conan, Conan has went to Aquilonia to see the Mad King. And Conan is all like, I'm not really sure I want to be involved in your whole empire. And he's like, nah, bro, it's gonna be totally great. I'm gonna give you an army. I'm gonna
It'll be
handpick
awesome.
the soldiers, and you're gonna command them. And Conan was like, all right, I guess. And then various nobles start lobbying Conan for political support from his new army. And he's like, well, no, all of you are stupid. Everything you want is counterproductive and will only hurt the empire. And thus the emperor declares Conan a traitor, has Conan thrown into the dungeon in irons, sends people to murder him. However, in the process of sending people to murder Conan while he's in chains in the dungeon, he forgets that this is Conan. And so Conan proceeds to murder those people back. Conan's friends help get him out, and Conan starts a rebel army.
We're done.
Organizing the empire into a bunch of rebellions against the Mad Emperor. And that is something I would say is a departure from the standard Elsbreg de Camp, because it was Elsbreg who did the King Conan stuff, right?
Possibly. Elspark can't put his stink on a lot of things, and it's hard to trace what's what. Because we know that Howard wanted Conan to become a king, and how he wanted him to get there, but not the exact step-by-step of the rise to kingship, only told in the aftermath. So, yeah, probably De Camp or the Marvel authors.
But I think this is a difference from both the De Camp and the Marvel authors.
Yeah.
Because the idea of Conan being a rebel leader just feels much more contemporary than
that. With that in mind, though, for once I have some Conan to talk about. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and they were sending me little tiny motivational webcomic style images from a comic in which a dude is getting life advice from Conan the Barbarian.
That's pretty good.
Okay. And it's actually pretty solid. I will. Oh God, John Dillard is among us. He was about 40 minutes ago.
He was when we started.
But I will throw this here. It's by Wield Comics, and I'm gonna. I've given the page. You don't have to put it up if you don't want to, but I'll read it. By Crom. It's an autobiographical comic by Shel Khan, featuring life advice from their favorite fictional barbarian. The book is now available for order on their online store, and you can grab your copy right here. If you'd like an ebook of By Crom, you get the PDF on Gumroad. By Crom had a very successful Kickstarter to fund a new print book. It gives you the campaign, blah, blah, blah. Growing out of love of swords, sorcery, and sandaled barbarians, as well as lifelong struggle with anxiety and depression, By Crom is a tribute not only to Robert E. Howard's hero, but to everyone who could use a brave, practical, and stoic inner voice to guide them through life's rough spots. In By Crom, the barbarian advisor comes along for dog walks, doctor visits, school days, and self-pity days, armed with his sword and his anachronistic perspective on modern life and modern problems. And then they give a one panel example here that's pretty good. We assume the author is laying on a bench staring into the sky going, I don't have any ideas, and Conan in full kit with sword is leaning over the bench and is like, then you must go get some, which is perfect, chef's kiss. Because to be fair, Conan would have no time for modern civilized bullshit. The decadence of modern society is writ large, and he would tell people to fuck off and die if he couldn't smash them in the face with an axe.
Yeah. And we are almost at the penultimate final episode of Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man. Everybody's converging on the Kingpin's tower, and the Kingpin's going to get what's coming to him. And I say to myself, as I'm reading this, this would have been a lot better if this was like a 3 or 4 year run of a comic book versus hurrying up and getting to it in a 2-year time dilation.
I mean, first of all, we lost Church, but I don't know if that's a comment of disdain or because he literally got pulled away.
He did have a lot of background noise.
Apparently, John Dillard is listening while propagating roses, which sounds lovely.
Nice.
My supposition is actually I'm going to be the downer here and say, even if you're enjoying the Spider-Man because it is the right Spider-Man, it was never going to be good. And it was never going to be good because, quite frankly, the entire meta world building that
Hickman's known for.
Hickman's got, this whole thing with the Maker is just so fucking trash, and I don't care who hears me say it anymore. Right? Evil Reed Richards is as boring as evil Superman, and I just don't care anymore.
What if you don't make evil versions of superhero characters?
I mean, that'd be a start.
Or your other alternative is just make chaotic neutral versions of superhero characters.
I mean, let's not do either of those things. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. What if we made a new villain called the Maker, who was superficially similar to Reed Richards, but with an entirely different personality from an entirely different life experience, and gave Reed Richards a chance to look like an awesome badass because he's smart enough to fight the Maker toe to toe.
How's that different from Dr. Doom, though?
Because Dr. Doom is a known local property. You could even have it where Reed and Doom have to team up to fight the Maker, which really just begs the question, how is the Maker not the Maestro?
Well, because that's the Hulk.
Right, but see, this is the kind of thing that should have been discussed in the development, is the idea that we really need to have a clear sense of what this villain is and why this villain is beyond evil Reed Richards. And if you don't have that, then here's an idea. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah. Also, the giant-sized Conan book is pretty good. They also have a giant-sized Conan book. There were a bunch of shorts in it. The one that stood out to me most of all was they had a short of a random fisherman who came upon the island where Conan was interred before he was to come back, because in some of the weird Conan books, Conan has an Arthurian sleep he goes into, where Conan will wake up and return when he is needed.
Not familiar with that bit, but I'll take your word for it.
And when this fisherman wakes up Conan, he picks him up by the throat, throws him down the stairs, and then goes back to his Conan sleep.
Look, I mean, Conan is not known to be the friendliest of men sometimes.
Yeah.
My father was not as bad as my grandfather, but I am told that my grandfather, if he had to be woken up, people would wake him up from the other side of the building because if you touched him, he'd punch you in the face. So they just sort of threw stuff at him at great distances to wake
One
his ass
moment.
up.
I will be right back.
Oh God, not all by myself. Whatever will I do? How will I entertain the people? I mean, I'm sure I can, but that's neither here nor there. As I busily kill dwarves or goblins, something. But I don't know. So you're doing roses, John. We had not heard. Last I heard you were sick. I'm glad you're over that.
I'm back. I had a
Welcome
animal
back.
maintenance situation I had
Ah,
to deal with.
cat.
Yes, there are two cats involved in that decrying of cats.
Hmm.
Had to check on what was going on. Um,
I get that.
so things we take away from our reviews is Conan's good. Go out there and get more Conan. Pluribus is it's good. It's good classic science fiction done by one of the leading authors of television.
I mean, it's legit. Oh
Um,
wow. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, John.
we're glad you're feeling better. Um, the new Doctor Who spinoff is terrible, and everybody involved with it should be sacked at the BBC. Hopefully,
Wow.
hopefully never
So,
to be employed again.
okay. Okay. So let's be clear here. You want Davies to be taken out and horsewhipped, and you want the entirety of the BBC to be sacked.
Well, I mean, yes, but not for just that reason.
Yeah, but look, let's be clear here. We started tonight's show talking about Avatar and talking about how awful Avatar 3 was,
But it
and
was
you
better than the first two.
but you didn't advocate for stars or producers or director to be castigated. You want people at the BBC and Davies to be defenestrated before they are beaten and fired.
Well, that's actually extreme, Joe. It's just overkill to beat somebody after you defenestrate them. I mean, that's throwing them out of the building.
Well, I assumed you would throw them out of the building, then you'd whip them until they ran down the street, and then you'd inform them from megaphone that they were fired. I mean,
But yes,
but still, my point is, are you actually going on record and saying that the war between land and sea is objectively worse than Avatar 3?
oh yeah, it
Right,
is so bad. It is so bad. I would take the gay Rwandan Doctor Who back.
holy shit.
And whoever it was at Disney who said we need to evacuate from this project right away, they clearly made the correct decision. They should be given a set of steak knives for their judicious decision making.
Well, I want to follow this up by a contentious opinion. John A. Douglas. I know you don't watch our show. He's a Christian author of some consequence. He's on the Twitter. He talks a good game.
Hmm?
You are wrong, John A. Douglas. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are objectively wrong. He has been arguing that because the '80s gave us great action films and everyone in Hollywood was on cocaine, and modern films are trash and everyone is on weed,
Well,
and you know that weed
hold
gave
up.
us Seth Rogen.
A lot of these people are on ketamine too.
Right. I want to put forth that no, giving Hollywood back cocaine, the idea that we should in fact let the president declare privateers and then do letter of marque raids on drug boats to claim and potentially destroy the drugs, and instead just give the drugs to Hollywood. This will not make movies better. This will just make movies more spastic. We will have the same garbage, but now it'll be by people who are on so much cocaine that they can't be talked out of bad ideas that they already can't be talked out of. Right? It's not a question of what drugs Hollywood's on that makes good films. It's the expectation that if you make trash, you get fired. We really need to find a solution for golden parachutes. That's what we need.
But the Avatar movies are just gonna modestly keep making money, and James Cameron's gonna keep funding his undersea expeditions with them.
Well, that was
God love him.
well, that was something that Elisa Hazel said recently. Somebody was going on about how much money the Avatar movies make. It's like, yeah, but it take $400 million to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he made that much money after the first movie.
Yeah, they do require a fair amount to break even. These are not great and profound profits just because the gross is large.
But the movies have made enough money to justify their own financing, so they're successful. They are financially successful vehicles.
You know what? That's the problem. We were talking the other day, I think you and I, about B movies versus A movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Avatar films are $2 billion B movies.
Yes.
And they're not good B movies. Right?
And there is a rumored plot line for Avatar 4 and 5. It's the Avatars go take the fight back to Earth and then help the humans heal their own planet.
Sure. Here's the thing, though. Okay, and this will bring us back to our primary subject. When they talk about this idea of cultural cachet, okay, this idea that the Avatar movies are important because they're making money, and it's like that doesn't mean anything. If I said to you, Larry, do you want to watch Die Hard? We could go watch Die Hard. We could go watch Die Hard right now. You'd be down with that. But Die Hard is not a B movie. It's not even a cult movie. It is a solid, Hollywood film. If I said to you, Larry, do you want to go watch Commando? Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, I fucking love Commando. I've got Commando, but that's not the point. Commando is not a great film. It's just a good film. Right? If I said, Larry, do you want to go watch Cobra with Stallone? Right? Right. But my point is, as I'm defining the downward trend, right? These are still films we know by name that we could talk about. If we wanted to take a week, a Sunday night and talk about the best and worst of canon, right? We could have an interesting night talking about some of the utter trash that canon films made, and then some of the best cinematic madness ever put to film. If I said, "Hey, Larry, do you want to watch Death Wish 3?" We'd have a chuckle.
I'd say, hell yeah.
Yeah, right? Those films are garbage. And they made back their investment, but they did not make a profound amount of money for their time. But you know what? But we're still talking about them 30 years later. That's cultural cachet. That's consequence. Right? The only reason we started talking about Avatar again was because the third one's coming out. Right? And nobody's talking about, okay, but what do you think of the Avatar trilogy? What do you think of the upcoming Avatar film? Are you excited for the film that's 6 years out that will be the next penultimate chapter? Nobody cares. All right? They're going to make their money, and they're going to pass like a kidney stone. And then we will forget they exist. And no, whatever goofball in his corner is typing up a response now, we're not going to remember them more fondly in 10 years. Right? I saw that bit of of internet posturing, where they tried to get people talking about The Last Jedi again by saying, look, it's been 10 years and nobody talks about it. I understand that that's some kind of weird retro advertising, peacocking, negging thing. But guess what? It's not going to make me watch The Last Jedi. I watched it once. I'm never going to watch it again. I'm not going to talk about it more.
Well, I mean, it's 10 years about The Force Awakens. And, The Force Awakens is... we can maybe talk about that retrospectively, but I want to go with some more compelling content.
Well, before we move on, quick shout out to our audience. We do in fact have audience.
Yeah.
John Dillard says he has never liked the Avatar movies, but he does respect James Cameron for risking it all on new ideas. Legit. Making a movie that needs to make $500 million to break even is terrifying, yet he still does it. Also respect worthy. And Church will return to us, I'm sure, but his internet has died. So, we will act as though Church is dead.
We are going to take a look at
well,
what
hold on.
happened.
I gave you the link. Do we just want to watch the fight? It's not the whole fight. It's just the... Yeah.
I got the 19-second clip here.
Well, yeah, but I got the better clip.
Okay.
It's objectively better. I'm not just jerking you around.
All right. Did you put that in the private?
It's right above your it's right above your link, but I will get it for you. So now the big question is this in fact still racism time because it's a dude getting punched out by a black dude?
No, it's yeah, I see this is a better clip. So give me a second.
Oh, you found it.
I did.
Okay, cool. Well, I was about to get it for you, but if you got it,
I got it.
Yeah. I wish Church was here for this. He would enjoy this.
He would. And this is his penance for having his internet go down.
Right. Somebody asked on the internet, what was he thinking, referring to Jake Paul. And I said that he was regretting not bribing this guy like he did Tyson. You want to make this big here? It's the little double area. There you go. And I can't hear anything. I don't know why. I don't know what setting this set.
Yeah, I don't have it set up right to get the sound. But
we would need Aaron for that. Okay, well, we will have to be your announcers, kids. So here's Jake Paul trying to fight an actual boxer and getting jobbed, but it's not a job. He just sucks. You can see him stumbling a bit.
Right there, we see the start of a TKO happening.
Oh no, it's funnier than that.
Well, no, I mean right there, that sequence with his stumbling. That
yes,
that would be the first warning sign for a referee to say that this may be a TKO.
Yeah, I love this. So Paul tackles this man's legs, right, like a bitch,
which would be also a second potential classification for a TKO.
So hit go, and okay, gonna he does it again. Here's the thing. I know, keep it going, because I know right when to stop it. Right. So he's up on the ropes. He's got nothing in the tank. See, he's baiting him right there. Right? He's trying to bait the guy. And gets pasted.
The ref the ref could have pulled that.
Okay,
early.
maybe I missed it. There was a clip. It's somewhere in here. It's either coming up or I missed it. Of the ref actually separating them and talking to
fight
Paul.
Within the rules.
Right, and basically saying this is not MMA, fucking box. Because Paul keeps trying to tackle the man. It's like, that is not boxing. That is not what we do. And yes, Jake Paul got his jaw broken in 2 places there.
Yeah.
I was informed when this was sent my way that he is never gonna box again. I don't know about that. He might be dumber than that. But I mean, what do you want? A showboating influencer went up against an actual boxer and got schooled because it
So
wasn't a 50-plus-year-old man.
so here's the thing. Professional boxing and Jake Paul were having a flirtatious relationship because professional boxing has been having a problem in the post Mayweather era where fights are fucking boring. There's not a lot to draw audiences in. So to them, the idea of Jake Paul being a successful boxer made sense, but they weren't sure they were ready to pull the trigger. This is why they weren't ready to pull the trigger. And Jake wasn't even fighting in a full regulation fight. He was like a 8-round exhibition fight.
Okay, so I don't follow fighting, or I didn't. I actually don't know if I can necessarily say that I don't anymore. Okay, but back in the day, I was very into stories about martial arts and fighting, and found a guy called the Pink Man on the YouTube who used to have a range of interesting self-made docu-series about fake martial arts. And there's a couple of people that have done things since, but there's one guy who is a dedicated fight commentator, even though he's not an official one. He's been recognized by a couple of official people. Okay, he's ridiculous. He has a character. You might even know his name, Napoleon Bonaparte.
I mean, that's a cool name.
But do you know him?
I don't.
So he does various documentaries about various facets of MMA and fake martial arts, and there's a lot of fun stuff to be had. Some afternoon, you and me will make some popcorn and watch some stuff. Like he both did a video about the weird history of fake martial arts, and then he did a focused retrospective on Count Dante, the guy who invented the dim mak, right? And pointed out that even though Count Dante is a ridiculous, over the top folkloric figure who may have done some serious big boy crimes, there is an actual martial artist in there that has been lost to the mists of time, right? But he did a series of videos about the show The Ultimate Fighter, which was UFC's uh reality TV show in which they got a bunch of dude bros who want to be fighters to live in a house, be drunk, and train while doing stupid challenges in the way of competitive live in a house
Reality show.
reality shows. And while the content itself is pretty stupid, Napoleon points out quite carefully how the thing about UFC that made it work, the thing that makes the Ultimate Fighter house work, is that it's not just about the fights, not the technical precision. It's about narrative. It's the stories, right? The personalities,
Mhm.
the people you're dealing with. So like when Brock Lesnar jumps from wrestling to Ultimate Fighter as part of a sweetheart deal because Dana White is a scumbag, that's not
But
interesting.
but in fairness, of any person who other than Dan Severn who jumps from wrestling to MMA,
Right.
there wasn't another person who'd do as well as Brock Lesnar.
Right. And as I recall, I believe Napoleon talks about Severin as well. But the thing is that when they tell you the story of literally a good old boy from a small hometown in the southern Midwest who goes on to be a fighter, attains championships for like a good 5 years, and then goes home broken on painkillers. It's a terrible statement, but it's also an amazing story. Rags to riches to rags again, right? That's the problem with boxing,
Mhm.
right? We went through our era of real greats, right? And I think you can argue whether or not, like, Muhammad Ali was one of the last truly great boxers.
I
If not,
mean,
if not one of the great ones, at least one of the great provocateurs,
I
right?
mean, Ali was great. Frazier was great.
Frazier was great.
Uh, Sugar Ray
George
Leonard was great.
George Foreman, stood the test of time for a while. Why I don't say Tyson is not because Tyson is not capable. Tyson is capable. But in my opinion, Tyson is a symptom of the problem, and it's called his manager, Don King, right? Tyson was product,
Mhm.
right? Even at his height, Tyson, no matter how technically proficient, was not a wonder kind to watch. He was a product of the machine, right? And nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the equivalent of human hamburger, of human cockfighting that you can just put out there and it punches on command and it puts someone down on command and then it walks on with money, right? That doesn't stick with us, right? So if you're trying to postulate that boxing, desperate to create a story, thought influencer boxing might be the thing because these people come with built-in fan bases. Yeah, that makes sense on a administrative level. But Jake Paul is a fucking asshole. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes Mr. Beast either. And if Mr. Beast said he was going to do boxing, I wouldn't watch it. Right? Now, if you told me Markiplier's going to take up boxing, I would be like, Mark, what the fuck are you doing? Are you crazy? But I might check it out. But quite frankly, I think influencer boxing is like the resurgence of freak show fights. It's like Butterbean.
Yeah,
It's not real fighting. It's a joke masquerading
albeit
as a fight.
albeit super heavyweight fighting with Butterbean. He had a good record for a while as a
He
fighter.
did, but I think people only remember Butterbean because of that name and the fact he was a big boy.
And they brought him into the World Wrestling Federation because they were doing experiments with MMA, and Butterbean knocked the guy out in like his first contact punch.
Right.
So that didn't work out well. But
That
for
did not work
Butterbean,
out.
Diamond Dallas Page came and helped him walk again using yoga. So
Right.
things are looking up for Butterbean. But I
Sure.
think
I'm
what's
not
weird,
I'm not dissing Butterbean. I'm just saying
yeah,
that there's a propensity for essentially how much hobo shock value can we get out of a situation in the industry.
but I'm actually shocked that it's more realistic that Logan Paul would be a world champion in wrestling than Jake Paul in boxing.
Right.
And you know why Logan Paul is so successful in wrestling?
I do not.
He is leaning into the fact that people fucking hate him and think he's a smarmy douchebag.
I mean, I can't fault that logic.
He is just a naturally good at being a heel in pro wrestling.
I
And
mean,
he even pretended to be a face for a little bit in one episode of Raw just so he could screw over the face in front of the audience. It was good. Jake's a very
if
good
it,
wrestler,
I mean, quite
or
frankly,
Logan's a good wrestler.
that just means he's an adequate showman in a role that requires showman. So good on him, I guess.
Yeah,
But
and
that's the thing is that then brings us to Jake. What is Jake's problem? Jake wants to be real.
but
Jake
Jake's not a good showman in the boxing ring.
Right. Jake wants us to believe he's an actual boxer worthy of consequence, and it's like, buddy, it's not gonna happen.
But you got us another clip of fighting, another hobo fight. So, do you know the consequence of the situation of why Andrew Tate did a match?
I do not.
1 second. That's not the video I wanted. Let me find Andrew Tate. Where's he at? Here he is. So Andrew Tate stepped back in the ring, and he does not look good in this fight. So 1 second, we'll pull that up so we can look at it. Doot. That is not the link I want you to use, computer. Really? Really, computer? You pulled the wrong link twice on me? How dare you? This is the
Dare
right
you
link.
defy me?
You're an inanimate object. All right, here we go. And I don't know if you are into kickboxing as much as you are into regular boxing, because you're not really into regular boxing.
I mean, I'm not. I'm familiar with kickboxing, but I don't like know names. I don't generally follow close content.
All right, here we go. So Andrew Tate, noted internet pimp and panderer, gets punched in the face.
Yep. And nothing of value was lost.
I don't understand why he got back in the ring.
Well, that's the thing, is that the actual humor for me is what was said after the fact. Andrew Tate tried to parse why he went in the ring, and he basically tried to say that he needed to do it because he needed to know if he still had it in the tank or not, and the other guy beat me fair and square.
Mhm.
And there are 40-year-old dudes who have never been in the ring who won't know what that's like, and it's literally just him trying to contextualize as much as possible that he honestly thought that he could equate all of his bullshit talk and was showed the error of his ways. Just so much cope.
So his professional record is 22 wins and 6 losses.
Which is, in fact, impressive, even if he is a piece of shit pimp.
Yeah. And his amateur record is 3 wins and 2 losses. So Andrew Tate, interestingly enough, was connected to all of the loosely to the turning point drama that happened. But that's outside the wheelhouse of this show. We're not gonna go into all of that stuff here. But there was turning point drama.
Okay.
So,
Oh, there, I found it. I found the thing. Quote: 99% of 40-year-old men with 7 million uh dollars sit around with whores. I could have done the same and talked shit on the internet and took no risks and just lived easy. In my heart, I knew I'm too old. I knew I'd been out for too long. That's why I had to do it. To face fear. I can't live scared. I have to know I faced it. I lost fair and square. Chase is a true champion, a warrior. I'm proud of him. He deserves that belt. So this bit of homoerotic energy is Andrew Tate explaining why he got in the ring.
I mean, realistically, there is a reason he was a natural talent at catfishing people.
Right.
So I do want to talk about how James Gunn has made a comment about Batman that's interesting.
Yeah, I knew we were going to talk about this at some point.
James Gunn says Batman has become boring. Claims there's a plan to fix him in the
Well,
DCU.
I'm going to be a pedant. I don't recall. Did he say has become or simply is boring? Because I don't think he said become. I think he said just is.
Well, but Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers, he says it's become boring.
Okay. I mean, what's your feels on this here,
And
Larry?
here we go. Let me read the actual
Okay.
quote. Batman has to have a reason for existing, right? So Batman can't just be, oh, we're making a Batman movie because Batman's the biggest character in all of Warner Brothers, which he is, but because there's a need for him in the DCU and a need that he's not exactly the same as Matt's Batman, but yet he's not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in funny, campy Batman. That's a lie, really. So we're dealing with that. I think I have a way, but by the way, I think I really know what it's just dealing with the writer to make sure that we can make it out a reality. So, uh, oh, here we go. Wonder Woman, I think, is actually easier for me because there haven't been so many of the portrayals of Wonder Woman. Definitely not in movies. Well, I mean, animated movies, but really anywhere that there have been a Batman. Every single Batman story has been told incorrect. It seems like
Bullshit.
half the comics have come out of DC over the past 30 years have Batman in them. I mean, that's true. He's the most famous superhero in the world, the most popular superhero in the world. Debatable. And people love him because he's interesting. Also debatable. But also having so much of him out there can also make him boring. So how do you create that property that's fun to watch? So I agree with him that Batman has been overused, and that has made Batman boring.
I don't think Batman has been overused and is boring. I think world building with Batman is overused and boring.
But what if Batman has infinite prep time, Joe?
Don't care. Here's the thing. What is, in your mind, a quintessential Bat story? What is the must-haves of a Batman story for your first Batman story?
So, are we talking a movie Batman story?
Yeah, if you're gonna do a Batman movie, what do you gotta do?
It's a whodunit.
No. Let me be clear, Larry. I'm not saying what would you do. I'm saying what is absolutely objectively required for a Batman film from formula before you and your actual desire ever gets involved.
Well, I mean, who's the villain?
Okay, so your first argument is there has to be a villain.
Yes. If you're
Okay.
thinking like a Hollywood producer,
Right.
you need the villain because all movies need to have 2 male leads, 2 female leads.
Right.
One's the antagonist, one's the protagonist.
Right. So the next natural step, okay, is say you have those things. What is the story? Now, obviously, it's a villain going to do a bad thing, and you got to have a Batman to fight him do a good thing, and there's going to be themes and motives and ideas, right? Like all that shit is obvious. But in the Hollywood brain, okay, they jump from the step by step of story to the broader spectrum of world building, not just for cinematic universe, which is the new cheese, right? But we have to leave in openings for all of these other things. So like, what if we could get Robin? Oh, what if we could get Batgirl? Oh, what if we could get the Bat family? Oh, what if we had a deep emotional thing with Alfred? Oh, what if we had this? Can we do social issues? And all of this guff gets added to a Batman for a film. Okay?
Mhm.
But we have the opportunity, we can think outside the box, right? We can step back. We can step way back and say, okay, we agree we don't need that guff. So what do we actually need
I
for a
mean,
Batman?
I mean,
Right.
it's a whodunit.
Right. That's the thing.
I-
The actual answer is it's a whodunit. Batman is not his villains. Okay?
And
So the
I'd also argue that of the many things Zack Snyder did wrong in Batman v Superman, that final Batman sequence where Batman fought the villains to recover Martha, you need something like that. You need a sequence with high kinetic action where Batman fights a bunch of mooks. You need that in a Batman.
I mean, you do. Although I would point out Snyder can eat a dick because Batman doesn't kill people. There are reasons for that. I have no problem with Batman breaking people. I have a problem with Batman murdering people. But here's what I'm getting at, though. Okay, Batman is not his villains, so it's not. Well, we need a villain. Which of the classic Bat villains do we do? Do we do Joker? Do we Two-Face? Do we do Penguin again? Do we do? Yeah, you don't need it. Batman is also not his lore. You don't need Robin. You don't need Batgirl. You don't need to do the origin story again. Although it's nice if you do. You don't need fucking Catwoman. Okay. Now, as you say, there's a bunch of Hollywoodisms that are going to get in the way. Okay. Because you need a romantic interest. You need a male lead. You need two secondary leads. Your
Mhm.
actual pillars, what you need to make a Batman film. Okay. One, you need Bruce Wayne on some level. He's got to be there, even if it
Mhm.
is a background element, right? You need Alfred because Alfred is the civilizing force. Okay. You need Commissioner Gordon because Commissioner Gordon represents law and order, and you need to make Gotham City a character, which
Mhm.
Nolan did very well. Yeah, he was lazy. He just used Chicago. Fuck it. But at least he tried to point out that Gotham City is a place made of people with stories, right?
Mhm.
The following film, The Batman, right, also did this, and I frankly think did it better. It doesn't get enough credit for the moody atmosphere the early part of the film had because it fucks up the landing, right?
Mhm.
Uh, because they had a basic idea, which is let's do the long Halloween, and then they said let's fuck it up by adding a bunch of secondary material that doesn't apply, and then let's turn it into a Nolan style super fight at the end. All of these things need to take a fucking back seat. Okay,
Mhm.
what I think we need as a Batman film, if you truly wanted to reinvigorate the warhorse in cinema,
Mhm.
right, isn't just a whodunit. You need to show Batman fighting the mob. Okay? And when I say fighting the mob, I don't mean mobbing the mob, where he just sweeps in and kung fu fights them and they just lose. Okay? The mafia is supposed to be a pervasive, sweeping, credible threat in Gotham City. These people aren't just defeated by Batman, they fight back meaningfully, and they don't just hire a clown. Okay? I'm saying show Batman being at threat by rank and file dudes with assault weapons. Okay? And no, none of this body armor so good I'm immune to bullets bullshit. Okay? Don't make it worldly and grounded. People already are tired of that. Lean into the fact it's a comic book. Have fun with it. But don't take away the struggle of being Batman, which is that he is beset on all sides by a million foes. And it's not just supervillains, it's normal people with normal fucking motivations. Right? Try to hybridize De Palma's The Untouchables with a Batman story as a whodunit. That's gonna make an interesting Batman. Because nobody wants to see another interpretation of the Joker for at least 10 years. Okay? We you had a chance with an interesting Riddler, you flunked it, right? We don't want to see another Two-Face. We loved Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face. Okay? If you must have a villain, if you absolutely must, okay, fine. Give us the fucking ventriloquist. There you go. He's a mobster. He's weird. He's a mobster. Make it creepy. Make it a horror movie with a crime thriller undercurrent. I'd
I
go with it.
mean, realistically, you could just throw Hush in as
No, I fucking hate Hush. Hush is such a shit character.
but anti-Batman versus Batman, that would sell.
Well, okay. Serious question though. Which one is anti-Batman? Is it Anarchy? Is it Proteus? Or is it Hush? Because they're all the same fucking character.
Well, I mean, Hush is the most anti-Batman of all of them.
And he is the shittiest.
Anarchy's just like an edgy libertarian teenager.
Right, and Proteus is just, what if Batman was the son of Bonnie and Clyde and it's retarded? But at least it's not as shitty as Hush. The Bruce Wayne fanboy that wanted to be Bruce Wayne so bad that he both became a supervillain and had facial surgery to look like Bruce Wayne because he's gonna steal Bruce Wayne's life. Woo! Fuck that noise.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, you want to bring back a classic? You want a villain? Okay. I think it's been long enough. Let's try Mr. Freeze again. Give us a Mr. Freeze movie with just Mr. Freeze.
I mean, only if Arnold gets to do Mr. Freeze again.
I think Arnold's a little old to be Mr. Freeze, but I think that there are other actors who could pull it off.
But what if he has freezer burn?
Oh, fuck you, Larry. You dick.
you left me open for that one.
No, I know, but still. I'm just saying, man. It is you can't just say Batman is boring when the fact of the matter is that Batman has been ill-used by his stewards. The fact that he is popular has excused a lot of lazy work. This is why, if you actually read the opening material, this is ultimately why Frank Miller made Dark Knight or Batman Year One, right? Or Dark Knight Returns rather, because Batman had officially become older than Frank Miller, and he was like, but classic Batman, and so he tried to make a classic Batman story, right? He understood where the deep stuff is, and ever since people have tried to copy him without understanding what they're looking at, because they consistently ignore that it's not that it's grounded, it's not that it's realistic, but that it is a simple story and told well. Right? That's it. That's all it is. That's all it ever needed to be, man. Okay? You have Batman. Why is Batman the way Batman is? Crime. What is his dedication? He must fight and end crime as a concept. How is he going to do it? He is going to punch as many bad guys as he has to make it happen. Well, why doesn't he kill them? Because that would make him as bad as the people he kills, if not worse, because with his skills and abilities, he would just destroy them. Because I actually think that is an important element that gets overlooked in a modern Batman language, is not just if Batman started killing people, he wouldn't stop, right? But if Batman started killing people, they'd never catch him. Do you honestly think that Commissioner Gordon could stop Batman if Batman just decided the people I don't like die today?
So I briefly liked Batman with this new comic that's come out, which reminds me I need
But
to cancel
not
that next
not
time.
not absolute, I hope.
No. They made a
Okay.
new comic where somehow Vandal Savage is in charge of the Gotham PD.
Okay.
After putting my toe in there, I'm pulling out. I'm canceling on that one. But Batman, for me, like most of your classic street vigilante characters, except for Zorro, is it's a pass. Zorro gets the excuse because he's doing the classic medieval knight archetype of
Right.
being the cavalier who's fighting for the people.
Well, again, that's the thing that Frank Miller gave us was the idea that Batman, who was supposed to be a Robin Hood of the urban city, is actually a Zorro of the urban city, right? But these people also don't understand Zorro, right? Because
Hmm.
they don't understand what makes a good Zorro story. Is just let Zorro. I mean, the quintessential example of why we can't have a good Batman film is oddly enough Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, right? We can't just have a film in which Indiana Joneses, right? We gotta do something different with it. We gotta reinvent the wheel. Wait, what do you mean people didn't want to reinvent the wheel? Why don't people like it? It's like because we liked Indiana Jones being Indiana Jones. We didn't like Indiana Grandpa being unhappy. Same energy, man.
Hmm.
Just let
Hmm.
Batman be Batman. This is why we've never had a good Punisher movie, and I'm a fan of the Dolph Lundgren '89 because it's the closest in actual personality to a Punisher book.
So my opinion about the '89 Punisher movie is he decides to open with a naked Dolph Lundgren contemplating in the sewer, and I think that's a strong visual choice.
That is also where it ends, if you recall.
I do, and I think that's interesting, and that's more than can be said about the other more recent Punisher movies.
Well, as a for instance, people are like, "Well, Joe, do you like the Tom Jane Punisher?" It's like I do like the Thomas Jane Punisher, but that's a retelling of the comic Welcome Back Frank after Frank Castle died and went to hell and came back, and
Mhm.
is not a very good book, right?
I
And
like the first Punisher movie that was set in Tampa because I know where all the places it was filmed at in Tampa are,
that's the
and I
one we're
know
talking about. The Tom Jane one where he's opposite uh
Travolta.
yeah, Travolta.
And also, I like how they filmed in the actual mafia places in Tampa.
Oh, neat.
So it had that little bit of realism. I appreciated it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Visually, Ray Stevenson was a great Punisher, right? He had the physicality and the willingness to do the bit. Story wise, Punisher Warzone is trash. It is fun trash. It is trash because it is several different Punisher Max stories smashed together, and that's again the basic problem is the number of times that they took. We're gonna do a single run of a comic book, and they said, but what if we smash together several other stories? And it's like, no, don't do that. Just do the run you've set out to do. Do the story, the small story you wanted to do, right? You need to stretch it out for time. Take some time to reinforce the basic theses of whatever you're trying to say. Tell me an interesting story, not a bigger story. How's how's that for a thing?
It
Better
is.
stories, not bigger. Hollywood thinks bigger is better, and their bigger and better stance is hurting them repeatedly. It's literally
Uh,
like stabbing yourself.
So let's see here. What else do we got here that's good in our file? Uh, oh, Zootopia has popularized poisonous snakes in China.
I heard about that.
Uh, we have a new Steven Spielberg movie and a new Tom Cruise movie coming out next year.
The new Steven Spielberg movie is a psyop.
What do you call it, a psyop?
All right. So, are you familiar with disclosure as a concept relating to the UFO conspiracy theorist cult?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. The thing is that disclosure is never going to happen. Disclosure is a lie because it's a cult, right? This idea that the government will one day soon reveal to us the secrets of our contact with aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the Epstein files, right? Somebody was bitching about how the Epstein files have been released, but they're heavily redacted, and this is bullshit. And they want to release the full Epstein files. And my friend Wolfgar commented on it and said, "I'm telling you, this is going to happen for years, because we all knew the second that the Epstein files were on the table, they were going to come out in a redacted format."
Well, there's also
And
nothing in the files.
right, but I said that the Epstein files are like disclosure because the basic thesis, the basic problem is you could release them entirely unredacted, entirely unaltered. You could have every name, face, time, and photograph, right? And people would disbelieve the proof in front of their eyes because it's not enough. It's not right, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to propose that the government has not lied about its various special weapons projects, or possibly that it has a certain level of knowledge about unidentified content that they don't want to say is aliens, but they can't otherwise explain, right? Because of the government lies. Sometimes it's for your benefit, sometimes it's for its own. But the government tells lies, like there's no question. The thing is that there have been 3 different attempts to tell us, quote, the truth as the government was willing to express it. Some of them have been outright bullshit. Some of them have been incredibly forthright, right?
Mhm.
But it's
I
never been
mean,
enough for the UFO cultists because it's not a UFO.
well, first of all, the whole UFO cult was a advanced psyop.
Right. That's the thing. The UFO cult is a psyop. And I'm saying that the film Disclosure is a psyop to get people talking about disclosure and not paying attention to other things that they should be paying attention to.
Well,
Disclosure is a distraction.
I think this Steven Spielberg movie talks about the human aspiration for first contact.
We had that movie. I think it also had Steven Spielberg. Wasn't it called Encounters of the Third Kind?
Right, right. But this is him telling a different version of that narrative. Because the version of the narrative he told back then was some random lunatic figures it out, and the government figures it out in tandem. This is about some guy who has the evidence to take down the corrupt power structures that are fighting to keep us in line. Well, what's ironic about this is before the show, I was doing a war game simulation with ChatGPT about a first contact scenario and how to talk to the aliens. And the aliens that ChatGPT simulated were reasonable and had reasonable concerns. And one of their concerns was managing information disclosure in a way that wasn't disruptive to our society. And I did a good job courting the aliens.
Okay. Did you have a successful disclosure, or did we descend into fear and anarchy?
Had a successful disclosure because among the many things I did correctly was once the government knew aliens were coming, I set up a protocol that we monitor amateur astrologers. And once any amateur astrologer gets remotely close we loop them into the official government messaging and communication process. And
So you use the people that were already invested rather than keep them at arm's length.
correct. And any of the academics who had a chance of seeing things, we offer to loop them in and have them be in the front of the pile of actual scientists.
I mean, as you do.
So the scenario that was laid out with ChatGPT is aliens have crossed into the Oort cloud, and we have detected 3 unidentified objects. And once I talked to all the other major world leaders and say, like, hey, do we all have the same information? And the only one who didn't say, yes, we all have the same information was China. And China didn't say more because they had information, but it wasn't complete, and they wasn't sure it actually meant anything. And then once we reviewed our data in the United States, we revealed, oh yeah, we had the same information, but we didn't think it was anything either. China just was more, oh shit, did we actually have the aliens on tape?
Oddly enough, this is a problem I have been having. Not only do we have bots being like, if socialism doesn't work, why does China have all these buildings? And it's like, look, man, they're built with slave labor, and those buildings aren't real. Those buildings are photographs that somebody made in a lab. But then the other component of note is I keep seeing all of these medical accomplishments where they're like, in Taiwan they discovered this, and I'm like, great. I don't trust any science coming out of Taiwan because
Hmm.
I just don't.
But yes, so in this war game scenario, I developed a language to speak to the aliens with because the science advisors, played by ChatGPT, said, listen, we need to do this because this is the best way to minimize incongruities and vagaries in our language. And it's also the best political solution because nobody is talking to the aliens in their language, which means that you're not claiming your language as the official spoken dialect of the humans.
I
So I had to
see.
spend a good portion of the time talking in weird language to eventually get to the aliens to the point where we could have dialogue.
Well, wait a minute. Here's the thing. Wibb says that he has a friend who lives in Texas who joined SETI with Dr. Greer. He went to an event. He took his mom with him.
Mm.
And what came of this, Wibbs?
But
If indeed you are there.
but yeah, so this has been a very interesting thing I have started using ChatGPT for is war game simulations. It's not great at it, but it's not bad. It is adequate.
Mm.
It sometimes gets confused. It has to be poked with a stick, and it gets back on track. But the other things that ChatGPT said about my scenario is I didn't ask for technology. I didn't ask for support or resources or help. The alien said, "Do you want to do that?" And I'm like saying, "Maybe," but that's a much more sensitive conversation. The aliens were like, "Okay, yeah." And at one point, I should use Star Trek to explain the first contact protocols and how this is a way humans aspirationally viewed what they might be like in space. And the alien said, "You're you're on the right track if that's your aspiration."
So apparently, Wibbs was shown pictures of glowing balls floating around them in a forest, and they apparently his friend heard lots of sounds when they went to Mount Shasta.
Ah,
And they
fuck.
all sat in lawn chairs in a circle and played some kind of alien sounds on speakers to attract them.
Huh.
So
So there's a lot of interesting stuff in the space alien situation.
I mean, to be entirely honest, In the first, I love listening to crazy conspiracy theories that are bullshit. Okay, so I do in fact I do enjoy occasionally sitting down and watching like Ancient Aliens and screaming at the screen and throwing popcorn at it because it's bullshit, right? But on the subject of do aliens exist? Yeah, I suspect we live in a universe that is more complicated than we realize.
Yeah.
Do UFOs exist? Definitionally, yes. There's unidentified shit in the universe. Do alien spacecraft exist, and have we photographed them? Oh, probably. I actually think some of the military, like we followed an object reports, are probably true. Right? Do I think our government is telling us the truth? To fuck no. Does
But
that mean I drink the Kool-Aid about alien abductions, alien baby hybrid programs, and and that there are 5 different alien species at war in the heavens that are using us as a proxy and they are infiltrating and that reptilians exist? Fuck no.
the what was the other thing that was interesting? The way ChatGPT was running the aliens, my immediate response to the science advisors are, this isn't their first time talking to a alien species. The science advisor says, yeah, no, these protocols are all well sounded out and they are probably been well repeated. So this is probably not their first time doing it. And then we figured out they didn't come because we blew up the atomic bomb or the radios or anything. They were already coming here for some other reason, which was interesting. So I think aliens is a good point to end the show on, especially since Church had explosive internet diarrhea.
This is actually unfortunate because I enjoy church. I
We
like the
could,
church minute. I think that the wise words of Grandpa Church are a valuable component.
and also I think it would have been good if we had Church to talk about the fight more because he knows more about the fight game.
Well, I mean, if we want to end on something fun, we could watch that video of the YouTube dink that likes to bait people, inspiring the outrage of an MMA guy.
Nah,
Uh,
but we might once some more comes out. It turns out that Johnny Somali was sponsored in annoying people by foreign governments.
ah,
So once that fully matures, that might be something to talk about. So
I Aaron's not here, so we don't have any of his fun stuff. But uh yes, Wibs. I completely understand being disinterested in aliens when there are enough real world conspiracies to be interested in.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but I have been seeing more horrible food videos on the internet, and it has been difficult because some of them are AI now.
Mhm.
I want to know what fucking monster decided that the thing du jour is boiling hamburger. Why do people want to eat gray hamburger, Larry?
Because it's been purified.
What, by the boiling?
Hmm.
What's wrong with frying pans? Why do they not like the sear? What? Why do people want to overcomplicate? Why do they hate food?
Um, there are people who think boiling is a good way to cook it. Like they cook it the same way they cook their hot dogs.
To be fair, I used to boil hot dogs, but I have learned that doing them in the frying pan is much better.
But what's even better is a combination method.
All right, my body is ready. Tell me this horror, Larry.
Well, what you do is you boil them to start, and then you fry them to finish.
Why?
The boiling gives you a more uniform cooking.
Okay, I now have a thing of boiled hamburger, or I now have a thing of boiled hot dog water. What am I supposed to do with that?
Flush down the toilet?
Or, I could just cook them all in a frying pan and rotate them properly, and be one and done, and not have to waste a bunch of water just for boiling it.
I mean, the water comes out of the pipe. It's free.
It is certainly not free. I pay that bill. More importantly, sir, if you're gonna boil water, you better be doing something with it. I don't care for hot dogs in my macaroni and cheese, but at the very least, either throw some fucking macaroni in there, throw some spaghetti in there, make something nice to go with your hot dogs. And the fact of the matter is that if you're making hot dogs, you're probably just making hot dogs. You don't need more than several hot dogs on buns. That you don't need a side with that. It's good on its own.
Hmm?
I don't remember what hot dog brand I use. It might be Hebrew National.
Hebrew National is a strong choice.
Yeah. Wibsman is saying Hebrew National uncured, and it's like I don't recall what one I use. If I had my druthers, if I could just do whatever I could, I would just get brats instead. I would just go straight to the bratwurst because bratwurst is the best. But I am poor. I am American. I abide hot dogs.
Well, good night, everybody. That's the show.
Good night, everybody.
We're ending on hot dogs, just like the
Hot
Bulletproof Monk.
hot dogs and UFOs.
Eh?